Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. On Thriftmas Day 2, I've decided to share with you guys a few different ways on how I increase my sales on Poshmark. So if you guys are interested in kind of changing the way that you sell things on Poshmark, I know that when I first started I was selling just random things around my house, and I kind of was like, okay, I really want to turn this into a part-time job. So I'm going to be sharing you guys the 4 tips that allowed me to be able to do that, and these tips are going to be so fun. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to share with you guys a little background about my Poshmark history. So I first started selling in 2015. I kind of was just finding things around my house, and I was putting them up at random times, and it was just a fun little hobby of mine. I wasn't making a crazy amount of cash. I was kind of making $10 to $15, $20 here and there whenever I would post something new. And yeah, so in January of 2019, which is the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, I really want to turn this into an actual part-time job. So I wanted to see if I could make around $100 to $200 every week just doing it part-time. And in just January, I made $1,000 doing it part-time. So I'm going to be sharing you the 4 tips that insanely increased my Poshmark sales. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you that little background of me just kind of selling things throughout my house. That's just kind of the way that I started Poshmark, and now I am a full-time reseller, which is insane but so beautiful. I am so happy that this is my job. So yeah, we're gonna get right into the tips. So the first tip I wanted to talk about was photos. Photos is definitely my #1 tip for you guys. If your closet is not doing as well as you would like to be doing, these are all tips that I didn't know before. Having a certain photo layout is super important. You want to have all your photos the same, and I am sharing tips with you that really helped me. This could be completely different for other resellers, but for me, having the same photo cover for every single one of my listings really helped me increase my sales. And I'm still doing a few testing photos here and there just to see what photos are more pleasing to the customer's eye. But yeah, the #1 thing for me is your photos, and it's not just the quality of the photos, it's the way that you take your photos every single time you post a new listing. So it's very important to have the same photo for every single one of your listings, and this has helped me so much. I cannot explain how much that the difference of the photo taking has really helped increase my sales. So before, I was just taking photos on my bed. I was just taking a random photo. I was taking one photo of it, and I would post it on my Poshmark and wait for it to sell, and that is just not the way to do it. And I learned that really quickly. So when I made this into my part-time job, I was like, I'm gonna take this super seriously, and the #1 thing for me was changing up my photos. So basically every single one of my photos is the same, and what I mean by all my photos are the same is that, think about it in this way. So if a customer comes to your closet and they see a few photos of you taking them in front of your mirror, and then they see a few photos of you taking them on your bed, and then everything's kind of different, then they're going to notice your older photos are on the bottom, and they're going to notice how long the item has been in your closet. And if you think about it in a consumer's point of view, it's kind of like looking at someone's Poshmark closet and being like, ooh, that has been here for so long, it's been listed for so long, I don't want to buy that because it's been sitting in your closet for a long time, so it's kind of old to the customer and they don't want to purchase it. So the #1 thing for me was changing up my photos and having my photos be the exact same every single time I took it. So I would stand in my mirror and I would take the exact same photo with my hair the exact same way. I would have my hair in a bun, and I would take a selfie in my mirror, and everything in the background would be the exact same because I would take it in front of my bed. My pillows would be the same, my bed sheets would be the same. You don't want to have one red blanket, one red throw blanket on your bed in one photo and then the blue in the next photo. So that is very important to have the same photos. I want to say this again because this has helped me me, this tip has helped me a lot, but a lot of other resellers, they might do better with having different photo covers or having different photos for every listing. But for me, coming from just like selling things around my house to wanting this to be a part-time job, for me, the photos were the #1 thing that really changed my sales. Yeah, so having the same photo layout in every single one of your photos is super important. So that is going to be my first tip, and we're going to go on to the second tip, which is your titles. So I really didn't know this before. I would just post things and write black dress, and then I would post, like, I had these cowboy boots, and I remember I had like the cowboy smiley emoji with the cowboy hat on top of it, and I just wrote cowboy boots with like that emoji. Emojis do not help. They are so cute to like add them, but I'm telling you right now, they just take up space, and for me, I just love emojis so much. So when I learned this tip about my Poshmark, it was so sad to me because I love emojis. But it's true, if you have the emoji in your title, it's taking away from the other characters that you can put in there. And what I mean is that, like, say if I had a black dress, if a customer was looking for a black dress on Poshmark, they wouldn't search in black dress. They would search in American Eagle black dress, black lace dress, or they would search like whatever they were kind of looking for. If they liked the brand Forever 21, they would type in Forever 21, and if they were looking for a polka dot dress, they would type in Forever 21 polka dot white and black dress. So the more keywords that you have in your title are really going to help bring more customers into your Poshmark closet, and they're also going to really help with those sales. And I love the emojis. The emojis are so fun. You can always add them at the end if you want to have like your own little touch to your closet, but they are kind of a waste of a characteristic point for you in your title. But yeah, I'm just going to share with you guys another example. Like before, I didn't really understand this when I first started going part-time, but like when I said, I noticed such a tremendous change. And I don't know if I said this earlier, but I remember I was looking in January of 2019, I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna change this. I really want to make this into my part-time job. So my goal really was just to make like $100 every week, like just like an extra like $100. That would be really nice, or like even 50, just consistently every single week. And I remember in the month of January, I made $1,000, and I didn't even think that I was going to make that much money within the month. Like, that is so much more for a part-time job, really. Like, usually you just get like here and there, you'll go to your part-time job like 2 days a week, right? Yeah, so I made $1,000 doing this for my part-time job, and while having a full-time job. The photos and the titles really help. If you're still thinking about the emojis, you can definitely still do them, but I just wanted to share that information with you because the photos and the titles were a huge thing for me, and it was crazy that I made that much money for just being part-time, doing it like literally part-time hours, like 20 hours a week. I want to give you guys another example because I feel like this might not come off super clear, because at first I really didn't understand it. But let's say you had a jacket from the 80s that was Patagonian. So if you were to list it as vintage jacket, no one would see it. People that look up vintage jacket will see it, but it'll be all the way at the bottom. It really won't show up. So what I'm trying to say is that there's so much characters that you can put in the title. So I would list that as vintage 80s Patagonia pullover, fleece, sweatshirt, or jacket, whatever the item is. The more characters, the more keywords that you have in your title that really describe your item, keywords that people are going to be searching up. So you always have to think in the way of a consumer. I just wanted to add this to tip number 1 about photos. In your Poshmark closet right now, if you are not where you would like to be, think of it like this. Think of your closet right now and look at one of the listings that you have and ask yourself, would you buy this if it was listed in another Poshmark's closet, like another Poshmark buyer's closet? If you wouldn't, if it's the photos that are off, if it's the description that's off, if it's the quality of the clothing, ask yourself these questions with every listing that you have right now in your Poshmark closet, because that's very important. If you wouldn't buy it yourself, then how could someone else buy it? My listings before going part-time were not cute at all. They were, my titles were bad, my photos were bad, everything about it was bad because I was just trying to get rid of some stuff around my house. You really have to think about that. You have to think of it if you were the customer. So I just wanted to add that. We're gonna go on to tip number 3, and I have my phone right here because I put all the tips on here. So tip number 3, I'm doing 4. Tip number 3 is consistency. Consistency is definitely very important. I didn't notice this so much before, but I was kind of just posting listings here and there whenever I found something that I thought that someone else might like. I was putting it up every now and then, maybe like once a month or 2 a month, whenever I would find something. And if you really want to make this into a part-time or full-time job, you have to have some type of consistency, whether that's posting 14 items a day every Monday of the week or posting 2 items a day for the whole week. That is perfectly okay, but as long as you have some type of consistency so your customers know. I have a lot of repeat customers, so a lot of my customers know that I upload new listings daily, and I post about like 10 to 14. I'm kind of testing everything out right now with my consistency because it's obviously very different for everyone. It's different for all sellers. You kind of just have to find your groove and find your rhythm, and I've noticed that posting more like 20, 26 a day, that really helps increase my sales. But if you're just starting out, definitely try to figure out if you can do 2 a day or if you can do 7 one day every week, just so your customer knows that, okay, every Monday or every Tuesday she's going to post 14 new items, or I'll check in today after lunch what 2 items my favorite buyer has listed. So it's very important for customers to know that you are adding new items to your closet and it's not dead. And yeah, that is very important. Consistency is really, really, really important for new buyers to see your items, to see your listings, and for new followers. But it's definitely more important to have more items, because the more items you have up, the more chances you have for buyers to buy the item. So the last tip is shares. I know a lot of you are probably looking at me like, no, I don't do shares. They're so annoying. They're so tedious. But shares are very important. Very important. So I actually have a virtual assistant who shares my closet 3 times a day. And I like to share my closet 2 times a day myself, just to get my item into more buyer's eyes. I've noticed that sharing other closets aren't as valuable to me as sharing my own, because the amount of time that I could be sharing someone else's closet and hoping they would share my closet after sharing theirs, it's kind of like you don't know if they're going to do that or not. It's nice, maybe just do like 3 shares and move on to the next buyer, but the more shares that you do on your listings are so much more important. And I've noticed that they have seriously increased my sales tremendously, especially in the last month. With having a virtual assistant, my sales have really skyrocketed, so that is amazing. So when I found out about the shares, I was like, I do not want to do shares. Like, shares are so annoying, especially if you have a lot of listings in your Poshmark closet, but they are very important. And Poshmark is just like any other platform out there. They want you to be active on the app. They want you to be active. They want you to be in a community. They want you to share other buyers' Poshmark closets. If you're a buyer too, they want to see that you're on the app, and shares are so important. So as long as you share your items first in the morning and one at night, or whenever they have the parties were definitely a huge thing for me, sharing during the parties. So no, I know there's like a tops party. If you have a bunch of tops, you can share your items to the tops, because that will allow more viewers to see your items. I really like to share my items at night. This is different for everyone. I also like to list items at night too, but we can go into a whole nother tips for that one. But I'm just going to share with you the sharing tip in this video because there's so much more in detail about what times and the parties and how all that goes. But yeah, sharing is definitely super important, and I know it's super tedious, but definitely just try to share your closet 1 or 2 times a day, and that will really help your Poshmark closet get to those sales that you really want to get to. So yeah, those are my 4 Poshmark tips on how to increase your sales. Let me know if you try out one of these or if you try out all 4, and let me know your Poshmark closet down below so I can go to your closet and see what you guys have and to share your items so they can be seen by my followers. Yeah, I hope that these helped you in any way, and let me know which tip was the most successful for you in your closet. I'm super curious to know. Don't forget to like this video, and if you guys want to see more tips on how to increase sales on Poshmark, I would love to do more because I love Poshmark. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I will see you guys in Thriftmas Day 3 tomorrow. Bye!